Although it may seem ridiculous to millennials, fear and suspicion of new technology exhibited by older generations has been a natural part of the cycle since the institution of writing. Socrates is famously quoted for stating that writing would create forgetfulness in the learners' souls because they will not use their memories. Ironically, the only reason records of Socrates' warnings exist today is because one of his students took the time to write it down and preserve his words on paper rather than just in his memory. In the 18th century, a French statesman named Malesherbes fervently opposed the idea of people getting their news from the printed page rather than the pulpit, because he felt reading by oneself socially isolated readers and detracted from the spiritually uplifting group practice of getting news delivered by one man to a large crowd. When radio finally arrived in the 1920s, adults were convinced that the device was distracting children from their reading and studies. By dividing their attention, the radio was supposedly disturbing the balance of children's excitable minds, and adults were extremely nervous about the potential consequences. Just 30 years later, the radio had become a staple in every household, and it was the #1 source of entertainment for families across America. However, when the television started to become more popular in the mid-1950s, older generations were scared that the television programming was harmful and might hurt radio conversation, reading, and the patterns of family living and result in the further vulgarization of American culture. There are many more examples throughout history, but the ongoing cycle of fears surrounding new technology can be summed up in a single quote by Douglas Adams, which reads, "Anything that is in the world when you're born is normal and ordinary and is just a natural part of the way the world works. Anything that's invented between when you're 15 and 35 is new and exciting and revolutionary, and you can probably get a career in it. Anything invented after you're 35 is against the natural order of things." If this pattern holds true for future generations, we as millennials can only imagine what types of new technology we will be fearful of in the coming decades.